I once lived in the five-borough area, New York City, one of the most amazing and infuriating places on the planet. A region with too many people pressed into too small a place and, like chickens crowded too tightly into a henhouse, they get cagey and vicious. I was no exception, eking out a narrow existence deep in the borough of Queens. From time to time, I had to drive for work, which was always a churlish plunging into the very jaws of the madness of the greater New York metro area. Traffic in that city is a mechanized version of bedlam, an unplumbable vortex of human madness supercharged with gasoline and made deadly with shiny shells on fast pneumatic wheels. I've long contended that one need not know how to drive to qualify for a license in New York City. And boy, doesn't it show. I was running late, as usual, and I had to traverse the BQE, the dreaded and becursed Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, to get where I needed to go. This awful, chock-holed, chronically congested belt of overgrown urban interstate is one some call the road to the apocalypse, given its deteriorated condition and the Mad Max style of the drivers using it. Trundling along in my battered minivan, I jockeyed from tooth-rattling lane to kidney-rupturing potholed shoulder at high speed for the best position to get around the slow and inept standing between me and my needful destination. I was growing steadily frustrated, weaving through the obstructive, unrelenting snarl of traffic. Too often, trapped in our steel shells behind the wheel, we leave our humanity at the curb and become ruthless and invincible while driving. We are encased in our shiny, motorized, bewheeled suits of armor. We do, say, and think things we ordinarily would not. Emboldened to states of depraved viciousness on our individual mechanized islands in the great seas of modern traffic, we become animals. I am no different from you in this way, particularly on this day, running late, stuck in heavy traffic with nowhere to go. I was trying to pass a grimy, smoking graffiti-covered box truck that was hovering along in the other lane, in an effort to wring a modicum of advantage in this Tetris game of traffic. Speed up, slow down, it didn't matter what I did. I couldn't get past that blasted truck. Infuriated at this mobile obstacle, I became rabid with frustration, and I drew up to the cab. I lustily offered the driver a meaningfully obscene gesture with one of my fingers. The driver of the box truck was a large, round man, clearly of Asian descent. He turned his head to face me, and then returned my gesture with great cheer, his face breaking into an enormous grin. He then burst into gleeful laughter and clapped his hands with joy. He playfully returned the gesture again and continued to laugh and clap his hands with grand amusement. His glee held the genuine purity of a child's. There was no malice, only joy. I was simply dumbfounded. My act of angry aggression was completely diffused by the stranger's genuine mirth. Seeing his beaming grin and face wide with laughter across the glass at 65 miles per hour completely transformed my perspective. In his joy, I realized the ridiculousness of my angry passions and just how silly I was in the context of the whole great human drama around me. I began to laugh too. His joyful mirth was so contagious, and I found myself waving back, which he genuinely returned. We both laughed, sharing this magical moment of transformation and the inherent silliness of the futility of our efforts. It was ecclesiastical in depth. I waved goodbye and then slowed, yielding the narrowing lane to him. I never looked at traffic or myself the same way again. In a few short moments in traffic, my Buddha of the box truck in Queens compassionately flipped my perspective from one of egocentric arrogance to that of my inherent smallness in the vast context of the greater human condition of suffering. We're all in it together, he seemed to say. So why not take ourselves a little less seriously and find some common joy in the absurdity of our collective human condition? I was changed by this chance encounter and can honestly say I've never been the same since. Who am I? What makes me more than others who share my same struggles and grubby workaday fate? Let's look at our common journeys on this road of existence with an eye for solidarity, a spirit of compassion, and an effort to share what joy we can find in the pains of our collective commonality. We will all get there together. So let's slow our passions and share the rough road of life with one another in a spirit of joy and kindness. In the end, we all merge into the same lane, going to the same eventuality. So let's embrace one another as all parts of the same whole. I will yield to wisdom.